It's time for part 3 of my Q&A. You sent in your questions and today's topic is my favorites at Eurovision. So let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom, I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So part 3, part 1 and 2 are already up. Go check them out if you haven't seen them already. I've got better lighting for part 3. The lighting in part 2 was busted.com. I apologize for that. That apartment was just busted in every single aspect. My internet was crazy slow there as well. Today the questions are going to be about my favorites at Eurovision. So let's jump right into it. Of course, massive thank you to everyone who sent me these questions, because if you didn't send me any questions, this episode wouldn't exist. It would just be me probably asking AI to ask me questions or something horrendous like that. Okay, first up is ESC Megan. Are there any Eurovision lyrics or song titles which stand out to you as the most creative, fun or interesting? We all know that you get bored from Love From Above, Walking Through Fire, Burning Desire, Standing Strong and so on. One of my faves would be from Daithí Freyr's 10 Years. You're so fascinating. I can't remember the last time I was bored. It's still pretty simple, but it's stuck with me. Yeah, I just like to hear about unique things. The reason I get so angry at these people who just say Love From Above and I am powerful, invincible, invulnerable, all that bullshit, is because it's so lazy. There are so many things to talk about in the world. I know you can't talk about anything that's political, but there's tons of other stuff that happens in our lives on a daily basis that would be so interesting to hear somebody else's perspective. You know, Lily Allen just released her new album, West End Girl, and it's about the breakup of her marriage, and every single song, the lyrics are absolutely fascinating. I've listened to that album like 20 times already, and every time I'm listening to every single word because it's so intriguing to hear about this other person's viewpoint, their perspective on life and what's happened to them, and going, wow, I've had stuff like that happen to me as well. It's just so invigorating. And when you're on the Eurovision stage, you have the chance to talk about anything in the world to the population of Europe, and yet we still have people, Melody Festival is the worst, just pulling out the most bullshit AI lazy lyrics. Fire, desire, love from above, I'm invincible, I'm invulnerable. It's really frustrating. I think it's bad songwriting. I think it's lazy. I think these people could not be arsed. They don't think that the lyrics are important at all. They just are thinking about a catchy melodies. It's so vapid, and I'd understand if there's nothing to sing about, but there's billions of things to sing about. These people are just too lazy to write about them, or maybe nothing happens in their life. Maybe their lives are so perfect that but then sing about how perfect your life is. I don't know. What are lyrics that stand out to me? I really love the lyrics to Répondez-moi, which is my favorite Eurovision song ever. One of the lyrics that really struck me is Pourquoi on dort si loin de la famille, which means why do we sleep so far away from our family? And as someone who travels and moves around the world, that's something I kind of ask, like, why am I doing this? Why am I so far away from my friends and my family? So that was a lyric that was really provocative to me, made me think a lot. By the way, I don't think every single song has to be deep and meaningful. Like even a fun pop song like Toxic from Britney Spears, I love the lyrics from that. Not everything has to be an existential crisis, but if you're going to do a fun pop song, do something original. Who the hell is Edgar? That's a pop song that's really, really fun and quirky. I agree that both of Daithí's songs had interesting lyrics. I liked Hattur de Mein Sigra from Iceland. Even Truth from Azerbaijan. I just love that this not being able to get over somebody. Okay, next up, what's my favorite Eurovision winner ever? And secondly, what's your favorite Eurovision song in general? Favorite Eurovision winner ever? Probably Conchita. That was a real moment. And you look at now how things are going with the trans community. It's kind of crazy to look back and see in 2014 that, I know Conchita isn't trans, but part of the queer community. But the fact that that was able to win, it just kind of shows us how much we've regressed. But that was a really wow moment. I didn't think that Europe would accept Conchita. And obviously you don't need a majority to win the televote, but just the fact that so many people were accepting of them, that was really, really wow for me. Now that's my favorite winner. It's not my favorite song. What's my favorite Eurovision song in general? Répondez-moi from Switzerland in 2020. Euroviz says, which song that didn't make it out of the semi-final hurts the most or you personally consider was badly robbed? By the way, if I miss any answers, editing Tom is going to put a floating caption somewhere because I'm sure I'll forget something. The ones that jump into my head, I don't know if it was robbed, but Verona is one of my favorite songs from Estonia. I think that was robbed. I thought the staging was bad and she had mic issues as well. I don't know why they didn't get to perform again. Aya from Latvia definitely should have been in the final. And if the jury were there, that would have easily have been in the final, or if they'd had a better running order, or if they'd been in the other semi-finals. They had a lot of bad luck. I have to admit, a majority of them kind of make sense or can see the reason. Isn't there like massive robberies? DJ Bobo. Vampires Are Alive. The performance was so messy and the vocals were so messy, but that was such a great song. Again, not a robbery, but that hurt. It was the favorite to win in, was it 2009? 2007. Yeah, it was favorite to win in 2007. That's how I should remember what year it was, because it was 2007 where we had that big messy one semi-final. If there had been a 2 semi-final system, I think it would have made it in. I hated that system where the countries who were in the top 10 from the last year automatically qualified to the final, regardless of their song. Worst system ever. Throw it into the bin. Throw the bin into a fire. Throw the fire into a volcano and then bury the volcano in cement. I hate that. Like, I have lots of songs I like. Like, I liked Amnesia from Roxanne, but her staging was an absolute mess. You know, I can see why she didn't make it. Also, she's become a little bit dodgy since she's been in Eurovision. I have to admit, I think the semi-finals get it right a lot of the time. Tela Mowveish is actually one as well that stands out. Although I understood it was too experimental, but I thought that was a fabulous song, really, really interesting and unique, and deserved to be in the final. San Marino 2013, Chrysalide from Valentina Moneta. That was her best song. That should have gone through. It came 11th. She had the worst running order. She was second. So yes, that was a definite robbery. And if she had a better running order, or San Marino had some mates who would vote for them, then she would have made it in. So yeah, that probably would be in my top 3. What would I say is the biggest missed opportunity with the country that had a song that could do well at Eurovision, but left it behind in the national final? Well, the most famous one is probably Margaret from Poland in 2016, Cool Me Down. But her performance in the final, it's not terrible. I've watched it back since. I think she got it scrubbed from the internet, or her record company did. But I did manage to find it. It's not that bad. It's just not really got the full energy. And they were quite unlucky that Michel Spock was the same year, and he was just really fabulous. I'd love Michel Spock to come back for Poland. So yeah, a little bit unlucky there, because I think if Margaret had been any other year, even with the bad performance, she still would have made it. So that's a really, really strong song. Statements from Lorraine in Melody Festival in 2017. Based on how the public reacted, I don't think that would have won Eurovision, but I think it would have had a huge impact, because I just thought that was an incredible art piece, and I would have loved to have seen that translated into a final staging on the Eurovision stage. Bulletproof as well from 2020, incredible. That's another really great, they don't sound perfect, but at least there's something new. Incredible pop performance. Yeah, those are the first 3 that jump into my head. If you've got any more national final gems though, leave them down below. A genie appears before you and says you can pick one country that will return to the contest permanently. Who do you pick? All funding or external concerns are dealt with magically. Love it. What a great question. Do you know what? It would be a toss-up between 2 countries. It would be either Bulgaria, because they have regularly been my #1 country, and I think that they could potentially win Eurovision. And my second one would be Lebanon, which, in case you don't know, Lebanon entered in 2005, had a song that I think would have been top 3, then they had to pull out. I think one of the key things I've learned in the last 2 years is that Eurovision is about building bridges. And what Europe needs the most is bridges built with North Africa and the Middle East. So this is why I would love if other Middle Eastern countries, I don't want to say the country's name because when I do, my videos get kind of demonetized. Other Middle Eastern countries like Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Jordan, I would love these countries to come in, because I think we need better relations with these countries. And I think them being in Eurovision would actually improve relations, because I think Western media is so racist against people from that region of the world, and actually humanizing them in the Eurovision Song Contest would be, I genuinely believe it would make a difference in improving relations. So Lebanon and Bulgaria. If you made me just choose one, I would say Lebanon. If you could pick any artist to represent Ireland at Eurovision, who would it be? Kneecap. It would be Kneecap or Enya. Enya wouldn't. In case you don't know, Enya is Ireland's best-selling artist ever. I think she's one of the best-selling artists in the world ever. She's in the like top 50, I think. Let me see, is she above U2? No, she's below U2, so she's second place. In case you don't know, Enya is like this folksy traditional Irish singer. She's super, super private. I think she lives in a castle in Cork. She's incredible. She doesn't do any interviews. She is private.com. Like, you never hear her talking. She is the like super, super humble, and she sold over 50 million records in the world. Her music style is New Age Celtic. Would love Enya. That would be incredible. I'd also like Kneecap because it represents a different aspect of modern Irish music, and they sing in Irish authentically. Lots of people want Ireland to come back with the gimmick of singing in Irish in a forced way. They actually already do it. So if you want authentic Irish, they would be my pick. Congrats on your milestone. My first video I watched then subscribed was your reaction to Embers. Oh my God, UK 2020. I wonder how that would have done actually. Your reaction was brutal but truthful, and that was refreshing to me. What is your favorite part of the ESC season? National final, pre-parties, rehearsals, the show, or the final stats? My national final season. That's why I cover it, even though national final season is just a lot of work. And that's why you probably notice there are very, very few channels which cover national finals. I think I'm one of the few that covers all of them, because it's just so much work, so much copyright. It's a labor of love. Like really, if you want to focus on monetization, it doesn't make sense to do that because there's other stuff that gets more views and is much easier to monetize. But I love doing national finals. It is the core heart of the season for me. My second favorite part is when the results come in, seeing all the numbers, finally getting the answers to all those questions that we've been asking all year. How is this going to do? We actually finally get to see, and seeing all those flags and numbers move around. That's my second favorite part. Okay, Paul's got a hypothetical question for me. You take one win away from Ireland, however, you give it back by selecting another year instead. Which winner do you kill and what loser do you promote? So I think he's saying take away one victory from Ireland, but give Ireland a different victory. Hopefully I understood that correctly. Which one take? I'll probably take away 92, Linda Martin, because I'm not the biggest Linda Martin fan, I'm sorry. And I would give the victory instead to either Ryan O'Shaughnessy from 2018, which is my favorite Irish Eurovision song ever, or Bambi in 2024. I would say Ryan O'Shaughnessy. I love that song. It is so gorgeous. I still listen to that. It is utterly beautiful. Staging was really nice as well. Yeah, hopefully Linda Martin doesn't come for me now. Okay, Jackson has a few. What's the biggest Eurovision crime of all time? I need to get back up. I need to think about this for a couple of minutes. Do you know what? Maybe I should just say the first thing that pops into my head. Blanca Paloma getting 5 televote points. For me, that's worse than Switzerland getting 0 points this year. That is like just crime. I think Russia winning in 2008 as well. That song was so bad. Like nobody listened. That song would barely qualify nowadays. And the fact that it won is just, for me, a little bit of a stain on the legitimacy of the contest. What is your earliest Eurovision memory? I think I covered this in one previous episode. What do I like to do in my free time? I like to go to the gym. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. I watch history, science. I watch a lot of mountaineering videos recently. I went through a huge one about Mount Everest. I went through one with the Titanic. I get through these phases, and then YouTube keeps recommending me content in that, and I just kind of get stuck in these little eras. I watch a lot of speedruns as well. I really enjoy speedruns of computer games from the 90s and noughties. I like to play tennis, but it's difficult because I'm traveling to find tennis partners. But when I was in China, I played tennis like 3 times a week. And traveling. I've been to 75 countries. So I'm a bit more of a like basic bitch backpacking type of traveler. I don't do luxury stuff at all. I'm more like sleeping in the back of somebody's van type. I've actually done that when I was traveling in Eastern Asia. What are you most excited about for the couple of weeks in Basel? I suppose this question is a little bit outdated. I was excited just to look around it as well, although I didn't do that in the end because I just worked non-stop. I'm going to try and find a little bit of better balance if I go to Vienna. I'm not sure if I'm going to Vienna. I have got accommodation booked, but I can cancel it. Yeah, a little bit more better work-life balance. I have to admit, since I bought a new phone and I bought a new laptop, so having better equipment, it has made my life so much easier because I waste so much less of my day waiting for files to write and waiting for stuff to process. That just frees up so much time for me. So I'm excited that maybe in Vienna, I'll have more of a chance to look around. If I could pick any one city that hasn't ever hosted Eurovision before to host it next year, what city would I pick? Maybe Sofia in Bulgaria, Valencia in Spain, because I want someone who's got enthusiasm. Croatia are super enthusiastic as well. For me, I want enthusiasm. I want somewhere new. I want to be easy to get accommodation. I hate when they fork out huge amount of money because there's just no accommodation in the place. Actually, Zagreb wasn't great for accommodation. Poland, I'd love if Poland hosted as well. Warsaw, that'd be amazing. Or in Krakow, that would be amazing as well. What is your favorite as well as least favorite thing about Eurovision? My favorite thing is, you know what, but probably both answers are the same. My favorite and my least favorite thing is the community. I love the community. A lot of the community are really lovely, really open-minded, really accepting. I love learning about different cultures and different people from all around Europe. I learn so much new stuff every single season about languages or mythological stuff or things that have happened in the country. So I love that aspect. I love all the flags moving around and all the numbers as well, which I talked about in my last episode. Least favorite thing is some of the toxicity is just really, it's just like really exhausting. There are just some people who are just so incredibly negative and just attention seeking, and they'll just do anything to get attention, whether it be crapping on other people or just being constantly negative or whatever. But I would say that is a real minority. I think generally our community is really lovely. That's one of the reasons I enjoy it. And national finals. I love national finals as well. What are your favorite a little bit more songs this year? Both covers and alternate versions. I have to admit, I didn't watch this series. I believe it's a series where all of the artists do like a cover or like add on to their song or do a remix of it. I don't watch it because it's usually in April, I believe. And usually in April, I'm kind of a little bit worn down and I tend to post a little bit less. so I don't want to take on extra work. I'm trying to like recharge a little bit before going into the contest in May, which is really intense because I'm working like 12 to 14 hours per day. If you could bring any one of the previous Eurovision winners to compete in 2026, who would I choose? I would say either Secret Garden from Norway 95 or Lordi from Finland 2006. That would be pretty fun. Also Loreen, but if she comes back with something like Statements, I don't really want like another pop song. That's why I was a little bit cold towards Tattoo, was that it just felt so wrong that Tattoo won and Statements didn't, because Statements had so much more depth for me. Tattoo was just way more generic lyric and construction wise, and Statements was so risky daring. I felt like Statements should have been her second win. So if she does come back, I kind of prefer something more Statements like. Of those countries who are yet to get that first win, who do you think could realistically do it? Many congrats on the 20 subs, well deserved. I'm actually going to do a video about this. So I've been planning to do this video since 2023. So actually when I do the video, I'm going to show you my 2023 list at the end and we can make a comparison. I think realistically, Poland, Czechia, Armenia, Lithuania, Croatia. I would have said Cyprus. I'm a little bit less inclined to say that now. Iceland, also a little bit less inclined recently. Yeah, I'm probably missing a couple, but those are the ones who feel like the most like it's actually possible. I think there's other ones who can get top 10. To win, you can't just have a good song and an artist. You also need a really strong delegation who've got a history of delivering. And you need support from other aspects as well. There's so much that goes into winning. This is why I feel like it's a little bit ridiculous when places like Denmark and Germany are like, we don't want to win. It's like, girl, you can't accidentally win. You really do need like a lot of effort from many different columns if you're gonna even have a remote chance of winning. There's lots of talk about undeserving Eurovision winners. What is your opinion on this? Do you think Eurovision winners can be undeserving of the win? Do you ever personally get frustrated about feeling a winner didn't deserve to win? Well, I already kind of mentioned once, I'll just go back to that. Yeah, Russia 2008 is an example for me of a non-deserving winner. And I did a stats video way back where I looked at his voting pattern of him, Dima Bilan, and also Sergei Lazarev, and just showing that all these countries in the eastern part of Europe who had Russian populations all of them just gave this top 3 in the televote. And keep in mind, 2008 was a televote only year. For me, it was just, people were just voting for the artist because he had a fan base and because there was this demographics in those countries who could just vote en masse. Televote is the best system that we have, but it's so flawed in that you can have a minority. We saw this with what happened with the televote in 2025. You can have a minority who just vote frantically for one country and it gives the impression of a majority, but it's not. It's a concentrated minority who are super focused. So yeah, I just don't think that Russia 2008 was a deserving winner. It just, the song just isn't good enough. You know, I think Russia have had good entries, but I don't even think it's in the top 3 of their best entries. I think it's just, that was the system that was there. You can see that after that contest, they brought back the jury, they brought in a 2 semi-final system. So I don't think it's just me. I think Eurovision also thought, okay, this is was a slightly dodgy winner. They literally changed the contest the year after that. So make of that what you will. What's your top 3 favorite performances in Eurovision of all time, staging wise? And Leo saying in the last 5 years. I'll just say the ones that come into my head. From this year, Luxembourg, Ireland, Bambi Thug, UK last year with Ali, incredible. Moldova, My Lucky Day. There's probably loads of them. Those are the ones that jump into my head. And to be honest, if they're jumping into my head, it means I've got them saved in my brain as incredible staging. It's in that folder in the back of my brain. So yeah, Lisa only asked for 3 and I gave 4, so you got 1 for free. I know you like us Aussies. Which of our entries have you liked the most? Staging wise, actually there's another one for staging. I would say Kate Miller-Heidke. I love that staging. It was so fabulous. I don't really like the song though. I never listened to it. Song wise, actually my most played one is Isaiah. Don't Come Easy. That is my most played Australian song. Damn Yim as well. Fabulous. Actually both. Great song and great staging. It's probably Damn Yim, I would say overall. Sorry, I need to give a shout out to Milkshake Man as well. I love that song. With the flurry of old winners returning, who would you most like to see again? Death doesn't count here. Oh my God, we're getting Halloweeny. Or if they can sing, who would you never ever want to see again? Well, I already said Conchita, so I need to stick with that answer. Who would I not want to see? Take a guess. Dima Bilan. Biggest ever grower, i.e. improvement from first hearing song to seeing final performance, can also do biggest flop if you want to get the clause out. So biggest grower would probably be Aya. I didn't like Aya at all when I first listened to it. I think it was like 30th or so in my rankings. That happens quite a lot actually. I do my top ranking video usually around March and I'll always have something that grows. Sistur as well, I think was like 35th or something, and that ended up being in my top 10. It just clicked when I saw the performance at Eurovision. That's one of the things I really enjoy, is that you have these songs that you are a little bit colder towards. And something happens, it triggers a memory, you just start to get the song. That's one of the things I really, really enjoy about the Eurovision season. Chanel Slow-Mo was a grower as well. I think that was in my 25th or something in my rankings. And then the final performance was just absolutely incredible. That goes into my staging category as well from earlier on, best staging. Chanel, incredible choreography. That's my favorite choreography ever. Biggest flop? I have to admit, nothing really jumps into my head. Do you know what? Actually, probably Albania, Secret, because that staging at Festival of Kungas was amazing. She had all these female dancers on stage with incredible costumes. They had so much time because Festival of Kungas is in December. They had 5-6 months to work on it. She had a really great music video as well. And then the actual performance in Eurovision in Turin was terrible. The choreography was terrible. The costumes weren't terrible, but they were worse than Festival of Kungas and worse than the music video. Everything was worse. It was so confusing that they had so much time. Maybe they overthought it or something, because I know that she was super passionate, but that was definitely something that easily should have qualified and didn't. But I don't think she was robbed because the final package didn't look good. What are your top 3 songs that should have won but didn't? Mine are Italy 58, Italy 69 and Switzerland 81. I would say Ukraine in 2008, Shady Lady. I would say Fuego in 2018 for Cyprus. 2020, I would say Iceland, Dathi. What is your biggest guilty pleasure Eurovision entry? I don't usually have guilty pleasures. I think some people can make me feel guilty. Like anytime I post about Give That Wolf a Banana, I always get these negative. I actually block some people about this because I hate that kind of like bullying people about their taste in music. It really reminds me of high school where people would make me feel uncomfortable because I didn't even talk about liking Eurovision in high school, because if you did, you just got bullied into the ground. So it kind of brings up memories of that. So I'm really, really against people making fun or putting other people down for liking whatever music they like. But yeah, Give That Wolf a Banana. Anytime I bring up that I like that, I will always get these really bitchy comments, particularly on Twitter, saying like, why do you like that? It really, really irks me. So yes, I don't feel guilty about it, but other people try to make me feel guilty. Congrats on reaching 20k. My question is as follows. Taking into account only the current decade, what are your favorite national finals and why? Favorite national finals: UMK, Benidorm Fest in Spain, MGP in Norway, Melfest in Sweden. In recent years, Supernova in Latvia. I would have used to say PZ, but the last 2 PZs for me in Serbia have not been as good. 24 was okay, actually. I did like some songs in 24. 25 was not good for me. And then I used to really like C'est vous qui décidez for France, but we haven't had that in a while, so. Do you think you could create the most cursed national final based on this year's national final things, like song quality, quantity, voting, intervals? I don't think the most cursed national final is Moldova's one already. I don't think you need to create it. What national finals would you want to attend in person? I'd love to go to UMK. I did actually have tickets for 24, but in the end with flights and accommodation, everything, I couldn't afford it, so I had to sell my ticket. Hopefully I'll be a little bit more financially comfortable in 2026 and 27 and I can start going. But yeah, it's pretty expensive to go to a national final. I'd like to go to MGP as well. I've already been to Melfest. You can't really go to PZ. I don't think there's a big audience. I'd kind of like to go to Dora as well, actually. If you could have dinner with 3 representatives from 25, 24 and 23, who would you pick and why? I assume they mean 1 from each year, not 3 from each year, because that's a pretty big dinner. Who's paying? Probably Adonis. I just think I'd get on well with him. In 24, I think Yost would be funny, but I don't know if we'd have tons in common. So I don't know if that would work. Maybe, I'm thinking, for some reason Sylvester Belt's coming into my head. I have met Bambi Thug. I don't know if I'd have a ton in common with them. 24, probably Ollie. I don't know, I think Ollie would be fun. Am I just choosing all the gay men? Who else from 24? Marina Sadi I think would be fun as well. And then from 23, I think Let 3 would be fun. Luke Black from Serbia. Actually be Lorraine. I think she's such a character. She's got a really, really fun personality. She's darling everything. She's quite an eccentric person. I think she's much more like spiritual and thinky than me, but I still think I'd have a good time with her. So that's who I picked from 23. If you could do a non-winners all-star kind celebration for the 70th anniversary using the list of competing countries in 2025, which songs would I include? I'm actually going to kind of cheat on this question. I would just say all the songs from 2020. I just want to rerun 2020 with the songs and just see what would have happened. Then I would just sleep better at night knowing officially who would have won Eurovision 20. We wouldn't even officially know because the results in 2025 would be different than they would have been in 2020 because some of the songs would have aged badly. I would like to know, who was your surprise winner in the last few years that you thought, I didn't see that coming, and do you agree with the win? Keep up your great work. I would say Måneskin. I can't remember what my thoughts were about Måneskin. I don't know if I wasn't following the odds as much in that year, but yeah, I don't remember being super aware of them as a favorite. I can't remember, but I definitely think they deserve to win. I think it's cool that something different did win because it shows that it is possible. But yeah, I don't think I was posting that much in 2020. Maybe that's why I don't have that many memories of talking about it. I think I was very late in the 2021 season. I was busy with other stuff and COVID was going on. I think I did all my reaction videos quite late because I remember my Je me casse Malta video was really dead. I think I did it like mid-April. And I remember people leaving me loads of comments saying, why are you posting so late? I think I was busy with work. So yeah, I don't have as much of a clear memory of thinking, okay, who are the competitors to win in 21? So maybe that's why. Do I prefer Jedward's Lipstick or Waterline? I prefer Lipstick, but I would love to see Jedward back. I'm very proud of them. I think they're wonderful role models for young people. Great positivity, great ethics. Really, really lovely guys. I'm super proud of them. I think they did a great job both times. I think people like to look down on them and make fun of them, but I think it's so misplaced because they worked their asses off both years, delivered 2 qualifications and one of our best results coming 8th with Lipstick. So I think they're wonderful. I'd love to have them back. What is your favorite edition of Eurovision from the last 5 years? Probably Liverpool, 2023. Just everything, not just the music, but like all the staging and everything. And also that was before the recent nightmare of the last 2 years as well. So it's like the biggest problem was Garia and Loreen fans fighting. Like that was the worst thing that was happening in that season. Whereas like now it's more like the end of the world type stuff. I know you're a big Zelts fan. What did I think of Kova's performance? I did talk about this in my top 24 national final songs video. Go check that out. I didn't think it was great. I don't think this is staging that was catered enough to the artist. The girl looks pretty comfortable. Sorry, I don't know their names, I've forgotten. But the guy just looks so uncomfortable. He's not able for that routine. And it just looked budget and uncomfortable and it just killed the song. And I already think that the song is a tough sell because it's not a classic exhilarating song. Add in that dodgy staging, gone. What are my stan Eurovision countries? Netherlands, Bulgaria, Finland. What did I say, Finland? Yeah, Finland. Ukraine, Sweden. I'm sure there's others, but those are the first ones that come to. I'm trying to go by what comes into my head. These are ones that are regularly in my top 10 list. France as well. I'd love an overview of how the bookmaker odds and actual results have corresponded throughout the years. Yes, that is a video I've considered doing. Someone actually gave me the data for it, so I could do that. Essentially, Xenia is talking about old contests and what are some favorite moments. I'm going to keep doing my old Eurovision series. Those episodes are coming quite slowly. They take a lot of work to do. They're really exhausting to film because I'm kind of talking for 2-3 hours. And then editing the video takes 4, 5, 6 more hours. Writing the file takes a huge amount of time. Then uploading it. And then on YouTube, I have to deal with tons of copyright. For my 1991 edition, pretty much every single song got copyrighted. So I love doing them, but they're so much work. That's why I need to spread them out because they kind of drain my battery a lot. So sorry I can't answer that question because I haven't reviewed 1988 yet, but of course I will because it's a very iconic year. What is my favorite Czech entry and why? It's actually 2015. Hope Never Dies, which is kind of obscure. Actually, I can add that into my robbery section. I think that song should have qualified. Did that have a bad running order? No, it wasn't. They were 8th in the running order, so people just didn't like the song. I love that. That's like a really cool rock duet ballad. I love that song. I think it's my most listened to. And then Vesna as well, I thought was wonderful. And then Adonis. Those would be my top 3. What place can Adonis give us in Basel? let's not go there. Obviously, this question was before. What in your opinion is the worst Eurovision entry ever? This is an interesting question because I think most people would say like pick something that's really, really goofy. But for me, it's the ones that I just completely forget. The ones that like are so nothing that I can't even remember when someone says, oh, who competed this one? Songs like Lavina for Germany, I think 2018, Perfect Life, that for me is just so vapid. But like, at least I remember it. Whereas there's other songs I've just completely forgotten. I just recently reviewed the 61 edition, so many snoozy songs from that. In recent Eurovision, it's the ones that I forget. You know, Breathlessly from Malta, that's a very snoozy one as well, just nothing happens. But I remember it. So the worst Eurovision entries are the ones I've forgotten. If I look at all the Eurovision winners from 2000 to 2024, what is my personal top 5 winners? Oh my God, I need to get a list out for this one. I'm not going to put them in order. I'm going to go from 2000 and read upwards. So Ukraine, 2004, Wild Dances, incredible song. Lordi, groundbreaking. And I don't know if we'll ever have a winner like that again. I love them as a winner. And I love that was Finland's first win. It's sad that I don't think we can have a winner like that ever again, unless it's televote only. I thought Mollyvow was a great winner. I don't know if I put it in my top 5 though. Euphoria is really, really classic. It's a wonderful song that really broke out of the Eurovision, went kind of global. Rise Like a Phoenix. 1944, I'm not going to put it in my top 5, but that's a really, really beautiful staging. Arcade, probably, and then The Code. I've chosen 6. You got one bonus one. What is your favorite NQ for each year from the last 10 years? 2015 is actually kind of difficult. I have 3 songs I like. Edward Romanuta, I Want Your Love, where he's dressed up as a policeman. Love that song, even though I think he cheated in the national final. My sources tell me. Molly Sterling, Playing with Numbers. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Irish ballad song, but staging was too flat. And then that Czech song I just told you about, Marta Jandova and Vaclav Noid Barta. 2016, I'd probably pick Agneta, Icebreaker for Norway. Or I'm one of those strange people who liked Argo, Utopian Land from Greece. And I'll also give a shout out to Yuri Putzman, Estonia Play, which came last because he had that goofy thing with the card. But I really like that song. 2017, Verona from Koitum and Laura Anna from Estonia. And also shout out to Jana Bercheska, Dance Alone from North Macedonia. 2018, Senek, Belgium, A Matter of Time. Yanni Terzi, Oniri Mu from Greece. Oh my god, the first semi-final is so much stronger than the second one. The second one, nothing. None of them. Yeah, I remember that semi-final number 1 in 2018 was the semi-final of death. 2019, I'll say Tulia, Fire of Love, because they did actually qualify if that juror hadn't made a mistake. So that's very frustrating. And Talamovesh from Portugal in the other semi-final. And then Esther Pieni on a Sunday from Romania. So I'm giving you so many answers, I can't pick one. 2021, Roxanne Amnesia, although her staging was totally disastrous. And then from the other side, I'll probably say Ferroc Flamme from Denmark. I think they deserve to go through, although they had the perfect running order and they still didn't make it. But yes, kind of sad because they sent a song in Danish and then they didn't qualify. So when will we ever get another song in Danish? 22, I don't know, I felt like those qualifications were pretty fair. Maybe Andamaki, Ella, but the staging was flat.com. That was Marvin Dietman flattening a staging. He loves to flatten. 23, Aya, Southern Lights from Latvia, robbery.com. And Iru, but again, Marvin Dietman, he loves to flatten. He's the steamroller of Eurovision. He destroyed her staging. Congratulations. Oops, I actually just looked up Eurovision. Eurovision 2043 instead of 24. So 24, to be honest, I agree with all non-qualifiers. Sarah Bonici, Loop, I thought was super fun. And then Musti for the Party Observer. But again, terrible staging. And his vocals, he wrote a song that he couldn't sing. Don't do that, please. And finally, 25, Adonis from Czechia and Gojo from Australia. Who are my top 3 hosts hosting duos, trios over the last 20 years? My favorite hosting is Denmark. I love the hosts in Denmark 2014. They were so good. The 2 main male hosts, Nikolai and Pilau, amazing. There was a female host as well who I think did more like comedy. My memory of her is her being very robotic. Maybe I need to watch the show back, but I love Nikolai and Pilau together. Like, just wonderful. And then Petra Mieda in 2016 as well. And I also like the hosts in 2025. I thought all of them were really good. When was the peak of Eurovision in your opinion? Probably 2023, because it was getting better and better and better, but we didn't have all the drama yet. But the whole show looked amazing. What is an overall weak Eurovision year from what you can remember, and a very strong one? I have to admit, I think it's been really. This is the thing you get on Twitter every year, is like people are like, I'm sorry, but I think this season's so bad. I think that every single season since 2016 has been consistently good. Very strong one. I think the songs in 2019 were particularly strong. I have to admit, a weak one, it doesn't really jump out to me. I think 2017 is known as a relatively weak year. What countries do you want to see win and host ESC? Except Iceland, we know that one. Yes, correct. Iceland's my number 1 request. What countries can you see winning in the next decade? Ones which actually have a chance. So I already answered that earlier as well. Oopsie, sorry, I should have put those questions together. If Ireland wins again and Dublin won't host, which city would be the most possible one? I doubt Mill Street. Well, I have to be honest, I don't really know what the capacities of stadiums are in Dublin. I think it would literally be a practical thing of who has a big enough arena. I'm just looking here on Wikipedia. They've got the Bord Gáis Energy Theatre, which I went to recently to see a performance of Kinky Boots. My friend took me there for my birthday. That's way too small. The Point Theatre is way too small. We have the 3 Arena, like it would have to be in the 3 Arena. It's the only one that's suitable in Ireland. I'm just looking if there's an arena in Cork. It's Mill Street. Like, so yeah, it would either have to be Mill Street or Dublin. So we don't have that many options. Don't worry, it's not happening. Ireland's not going to win anytime soon. What has been Tom's favorite country in the contest throughout the 2020s so far? I think I answered that already. Bonus question, do I think a goblin can win Eurovision in the next 10 years? A lot of people, I didn't, but many people called Käärijä in 2023 a goblin. That was what, remember I told you there was that fight between Loreen fans and Käärijä. They would refer to him as a green goblin. So he almost won, so maybe if he comes back. But generally, yeah, goblins don't tend to win. I suppose the only goblins that ever won were Lordi. What's a country in Eurovision other than your own that you support no matter what? To be honest, I don't support Ireland no matter what. I was very critical of Maps and 22 and We Are One because I thought they're all weak entries. I'm not going to support someone by default. I'm going to support them. Like, I support countries like Netherlands, Ukraine, Sweden, because I feel like they put tons of effort and tons of passion in every year. So I'm going to support the countries who I feel like are making huge effort, taking the contest seriously. It just so happens that there are certain countries who consistently do that and others who don't. But yeah, like, I'm not going to have a default I love this just because it is the Netherlands. In the history of the contest, which winning song was the biggest shock? 2008. I always like comparing the different years based on how well produced they were and the positive impact on the quality of the contest they had. What years do you think have been the best, worst produced in terms of staging? And as an addition to that, what's your opinion on the removal of original logos each year? I think the 2011 contest had a pretty big effect. The big LED, the big wow staging, I feel like that had an impact, but I wasn't as conscious of Eurovision back then, so I don't know if I could give the best answer for that. But the best produced ones for me, I love 2014. And 2016. I felt like the production, the graphics, everything was really wonderful. What's my opinion on the removal of the original logos each year? I have to admit, it doesn't bother me that much. I understand why they're doing it. They want a consistent brand. Okay, Jeremy asking my least favorite of all time. Probably 24 and 25 from that country. I literally cannot watch them. Okay, Smthngnws of 2020. Oh. So I'm going to have to put them up here so you can see them. Semi-final 1. I feel like Australia, that would have been their first non-qualification. Don't break me, just it's so early in the running order. I don't feel like Val from Belarus would have been a shock, I think, because it's second in the running order. I think Roop would have gone through. Little Big obviously would have. I think Belgium would have made it. Destiny would have made it. Cleopatra, I think, would have made it as well. I think the televote would have liked that. Maybe Alcohol You, just based on how weak Roxanne's performance was. I think this is easier for her to perform. Way less movement. She liked the song more, I think. I don't know. I think Australia would be the only one who'd be a shock. It's hard to know because I need to know what people's expectations were. And then from those pick which one I think wouldn't make it. Semi-final number 2. I think Greece would have made it. I think Uku and Vincent wouldn't. Natalia. I don't know if people were expecting it. I don't think that would have made it. I don't know if it was expected though. Senhit. I don't think people were expecting that either. This is a pretty weak semi, to be honest. I think Hurricane would have made it. Alicia, I think, would have been borderline. Dottie would have made it. So would have John's Tears. Ben and Tan. Oh, this gets much stronger in the second half. I think Dottie, John's Tears, Ben and Tan all would have made it. Probably Arlena as well. She's very good live. Axel, I think, would have been a shock success. Athenia, I think, would have done really well. Elisa, based on Portugal's record, could have made it. This second half is so stacked. My God. I think this definitely would have been a 3-7 semi-final. 3 qualifying from the first half, 7 from the second. Samantha Teen, I don't think would have made it. So I think the shocks potentially Athenia Mukian, that song is a little bit risky. From the first 9, I think only 3 would have made it though. Iceland, Serbia, and maybe one other. What is my favorite stage design and my fave theme art? And my least favorites? My favorite stage design, sorry, it's still 2014, that open cube, love it so much. Let me give you a slightly different answer, someone else. I think this year was pretty good actually from Basil. And my favorite theme art, I really like the art in 2016. I like how each country had its own font, and I love the flag ceremony for it. And the postcards, I like the postcards from 2014, where they were making their flag. I always remember Maria Yaremchuk making her flag with post-its and a blue train. Again, I think that was Denmark, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 2014. 2014 was just amazing. This is the thing. If Denmark can just win, they're going to host an amazing show. It is one of my favorite Eurovision shows ever, with an incredible winner. When during the voting sequence of any year's contest have you felt the happiest? When have you felt the most surprise? Happiest was seeing Ukraine take the lead in 24. That was just a huge sense of relief that the contest wasn't going to be rigged. And then when have I felt the most surprised? I think it's those ones, the ones I talked about earlier. So Spain getting so few points, Switzerland getting so few points. So you can watch, because I do reactions to the points, so you can see the parts where I gasped the most. What are your favorite entries ever of Romania and Moldova? Romania, Paula and Ovi, Playing with Fire, and Esther Peony. I love Esther Peony. So I actually think Esther Peony is probably my most played on a Sunday. I love that song. Beautiful dark pop entry. I actually think she did an okay job of the staging. I don't know why it did so badly. And Moldova, actually quite a lot. I really like Jedward Romaniuta, who didn't qualify in 2015 with the his police outfit. Love the staging for My Lucky Day. To be honest, musically, I don't tend to listen to too much of the Moldovan entries, apart from Jedward Romaniuta. I tend to more appreciate the final staging and how they do it despite being on a budget. Yeah, probably Sugar, actually. I actually didn't like the staging for Sugar. I love that song, though. If I could uncrown one winner from the past 20 years and pass the victory to another song from the same year, what would it be? Take a guess. The answer, 2008, I would give the crown to Ukraine instead. What ESC performances get a visceral reaction from you, whatever reason? What is your ideal jury televote split? And who are my favorite hosts? Visceral reaction, Switzerland 2020. That's why it's my number one. It really, really touched me quite deeply. My ideal jury televote split is 50-50. You need two different systems. If you want to start weighting them more, it gets really too confusing for people at home. I need to do a video about this. I keep talking about it, but I never do it. I always overthink it and then not do it. But yeah, if you want to get into weighting the televote more, you need to double the jury. So 66-33 or triple the televote to make it 75-25. It's so messy. It brings maths in. People get confused. They start to tune out. 50-50 is the best. You need two different systems that give points to different types of entries so that we don't have a bunch of people who are on 0 points. I'm for the jury, but I think the jury should be improved in that they should have better variety, different age groups, different musical backgrounds, not all one age group who only like pop music. You need someone who likes rock. You need someone who's much younger, much older. Variations so that you get all people represented, and they shouldn't be able to influence each other. They should be in separate rooms, not one person bossing everyone else around, which we see when I do my bad juries video. Which is the one most spine-tingling moment on the Eurovision stage? 2016 Jamala, that moment where she does the long note. I think it's the part of the song where the baby is dying in the mother's arms and you see this flower come out and then it bursts into a tree. Even just talking about it now, I get tingles. That is the tingliest moment for me ever in Eurovision history. Just the most stunning imagery, not just the metaphor that's used, but also how it looks on the ground. Go back and watch that. It is absolutely spectacular. The staging director won with that. Whoever did that graphic, they won because that. If they didn't have that graphic, that wouldn't have won in 2016. It was mind-blowing. The most reliable Eurovision song to give me tingles. Okay, that's the end of Q&A part 3. Thank you to everyone who sent in your questions. Hopefully I answered them the best I can. There's one more part coming up. It is going to be, I've written it down here, questions about Eurovision. So this is more like general questions about the format structure, what would I change in how it's organized, etc. What did you think about some of these questions? Leave me your answers down below. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and Buy Me Coffee. If you want to support the channel, leave a QR code over here and a link in the description. And of course, thank you to my wonderful Patreons and YouTube members from all around the world. Their support is absolutely and utterly vital, particularly in the off season, so I can keep creating. My big goal in 2026 is to break even. So if you want to support the channel, I'll leave a link for you in the description. But of course, thank you so much just for being here. I've seen another Q&A very soon. Goodbye.